We've recently released MaintSmart 5.0.9.9, and there are a few minor upgrades in this that you may find useful. I'm going to go over those now. Okay, so I have MaintSmart running. I'm all logged in. And first of all, we might notice we have bigger icons. Actually, this was released in a somewhat earlier version, but I'd like to just kind of go over that a little bit. They're easier to see and easier to hit with your mouse. Additionally, if you like the older, smaller icons, you can go to your program configuration and you can go ahead and change that back to the smaller icon if you prefer that. Okay, that's one of the updates. Another one that's useful in setting up your equipment is the filtering capability that's now available on the equipment items screen. So we have our equipment items here, and these are actually the items that you'll see whenever you're using the software for work orders and preventive maintenance and so on. In the past, you had to either sort and look for something, or you could right click on, or left click rather, on the right side of the column here and search that way. And that's fine. I want to find a conveyor. I could say, well, I don't know what the conveyor is exactly. I just know it has the word conveyor in it. I could always type in there and I could pull up all the instances of conveyor. And that's useful without a doubt. However, we did add another way to filter this screen. So perhaps we just want to look at the equipment on a particular line, for example. I can click on the line radio button and then go down and pick a particular line. And it just loads that line. It makes it somewhat easier to locate the equipment. So if you're configuring all the equipment on a particular line, for example, or a particular work area, or even an equipment group, you can use this capability. It may save you some time. Okay, on to the next upgrade. We did add the capability in the downtime screen for date and time complete. Now, in the past, we always had date and time occurred, and of course, you need to know this, and the date and time complete could be calculated based upon the time down internally by the software. However, it's a little more intuitive if it's actually on the screen. So, however you set this, either set the time down or actually set the date time complete by editing it, eventually it changes the other field. So they synchronize with one another. Additionally, we've always displayed time down, repair time, and impact time, which is another way of saying opportunity cost in MaintSmart, using minutes as the unit. You can now use hours or days. So this is another option that was added into this version. Okay, moving on. Just kind of elaborating on this just a little bit. If we go into our time down analysis, downtime I should say analysis, we now have the date completed field here as well. So we can go in and do an analysis based upon that. Okay, so we have the date completed field in here that we can use as well at this point. So that's a pretty big benefit, I believe, to our users in evaluating downtime and equipment reliability. All right, moving on to the next item. In the PM screen, and this is the screen where we actually close out PMs, we now have the capability to display the detailed instructions or procedures on this screen. Now, in the past, you could see them in a print preview, of course, but they weren't on the screen because of the fact that they can be very extensive, and to try to squeeze them in to this data grid just didn't make sense. So what we've done instead is we've given you a way to just turn them on here by clicking this details button. And if you come in here and click on the row, if there are details, it'll display them. And you can resize that and move it out of your way. And just click through. There's no details on that one. There are on this one. So this kind of gives the technician or the mechanic out in the field a way to go through without printing his PMs and look at each PM, see what they have to do. They can actually go in here and check things off because this is editable, and then go ahead and close out the PM if they'd like. They can go ahead and close it right out in the field and call it good without ever printing out or emailing a copy of the actual PM report. Okay, that is the majority of the things. There is one other item that kind of ties into the locking of the fields, and that's on the inventory used screen. So when you use spares against anything being a work order, a preventive maintenance, task closure, a downtime instance, or just for a piece of equipment for no specific purpose, you can log the spares usage into this screen. This will link that usage to that equipment and to why it was used, who used it, when they used it, and so on. This gives you a way to track your costs much better. So on this screen, hopefully this has made it a bit easier if you're entering a lot of different items. So at this point, what you can do is you can go ahead and lock these fields. So when you create a new record, and you can lock them however you want, it saves whatever was in there last. So if you're adding multiple spares at a time, it makes it a bit easier to navigate the screen. There'll be less items to select in the situation where they all apply to one of these locked fields. Now, just since they're locked doesn't mean you have to use them. You can always switch to something else manually, but it holds them in between updates. So hopefully these updates will speed up your data entry and make the use of MaintSmart more efficient and beneficial to you. One other final thing we did in this version of MaintSmart, which is a pretty big thing, it's kind of hard to demonstrate right now, but we've added much better multi-plant or multi-facility support into the program. So it handles that even better than it ever has, and it's always been able to manage multiple locations in one database, but at this point it's much faster. The reporting capability is better, and it's just an all-around better setup. So I hope you found this video beneficial, and if you'd like a free demo of MaintSmart CMMS software, be sure to give us a call or shoot us an email. Thanks for watching.